They invited me out of obligation, not love. I knew the moment I saw my name buried at the bottom of that digital invitation. A family card that treated me like a distant cousin instead of blood. Still, I went, not to make peace, but to see them again, to look them in the eye. My brother was getting married, the golden boy, the one who never did anything wrong. And me? The exile, the embarrassment, the one they pretended didn't exist the moment I left my father's house 7 years ago. When I stepped into the hall, heads turned. My stepmother's smile was sharp enough to cut glass. My father stood by the entrance, all posture and pride, his new family draped around him like armor. I kept my back straight. I wasn't there for them. "Look who decided to show up," my stepmother said, her tone laced with venom masked as charm. "Tell me, how much you earn these days?" I smiled, enough to make my own choices. She laughed, a brittle, high-pitched sound that only fake people make when they think they've won. My father didn't even bother faking it. His voice cut through the chatter like a blade. "You shouldn't have come," he said, loud enough for the guests near the buffet to hear. "You're an embarrassment to this family. Leave before you make a scene." The room stilled. My brother looked away. Even the music seemed to lower its volume. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I simply nodded, turned, and walked out to the same doors I'd entered, calm, silent, measured. But before I reached the parking lot, I looked back once. My stepmother was already whispering in someone's ear, smiling that smug, triumphant smile. That was her mistake. When they cut me off 7 years ago, they thought I'd drown. They didn't know I had learned to swim long before they threw me overboard. I started small, working for a catering supplier, then managing logistics, then eventually owning my own chain of event service companies. Quietly, under a different name. I didn't flaunt it. Success tastes sweetest when it's silent, especially when the people who called you worthless are still measuring worth through whispers and wedding invitations. So when that message arrived, the casual, obligatory invitation, I saw opportunity, not insult, a test of how far I'd come. I made one phone call, to the catering manager. He didn't know my face, but he knew my name, my company's name, the one supply his entire inventory. "Everything confirmed for the wedding?" I asked. "Yes, sir. Delivery is being set up now." "Cancel it," I said. "Everything. Pull the trucks back. Immediate withdrawal." He hesitated. "Sir, that event's already paid for," he said. "Refund them." "Fully," I replied. "We don't serve families who insult our partners." Effective immediately. He didn't ask who. He didn't need to. When your company controls the food chain for half the city's high-end weddings, you don't question the owner's tone. I drove to the nearest coffee shop overlooking the venue, ordered a latte, and waited. 30 minutes later, one by one, the catering staff started leaving. Trucks rolled out. Waiters walked off mid-setup. Trays vanished. The grand buffet, the pride of my stepmother's planning, was stripped bare before a single dish was served. Through the glass doors, I watched the chaos unfold. My father's voice boomed. My stepmother waved her hands in disbelief. Guests murmured. Phones flashed. My brother's bride's family watched in humiliation. 300 guests stood staring at empty tables. I could almost hear her words. "How much do you earn these days?" Enough, I thought. Enough to ruin your reputation, without lifting a finger. I didn't go back inside. I didn't need to. My silence spoke louder than any confrontation ever could. For years, they starved me of respect, of love, of belonging. Tonight, I simply returned the hunger. Later, my brother called, not out of concern, but desperation. "Did you do this?" he whispered. I didn't lie. "I did." He exhaled sharply. "You embarrassed everyone." I almost laughed. "No, little brother. I just mirrored what your father taught me." He said nothing. The line went dead. By midnight, the story had spread across every WhatsApp group, every social circle. Khan family's grand wedding ends in chaos. Caterers vanished without notice. Photos circulated. My father's furious face, my stepmother crying near the empty buffet, guests leaving early. Reputation, the one thing my father valued above all, gone in a single night. People think revenge requires rage. It doesn't. It demands patience, precision, and perfect timing. I waited 7 years for that moment, not to destroy them, but to remind them who they tried to erase. I didn't ruin their lives. I just ensured they tasted what they had served me: humiliation, silence, and absence. And as I drove home that night, city lights passing like fading memories, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: freedom.